I've known this young guy for 30 years, something like that. And it was 1989, and I was in my state senate office in Harrisburg, and I get a call from this kid. And he said, "My name's Rob Loughery." I said, "All right." He said, I'm a student at Dickinson College. He said, "And I know that's where you went." And I said, "That's right." And he said, "And I'm from Bucks County in Warrington." And I said, "All right." And he said, "I'd like to volunteer in your office." And we brought him on, and he did a fabulous job as an intern. He was a terrific guy. And that's when I got to know who he really was. And I think we all know about him. He's a super guy. He's full of integrity, a guy I don't mind saying I fell in love with. He's a great human being. So then in 1992, I decided to run for Congress, and Rob volunteered. Basically, that campaign was a lot of standing in front of grocery stores all day long handing out literature. And this guy was standing next to me at every grocery store from Bristol to Quakertown and East and West. And then in 1994, it was my first re-elect, and it was going to be a tough one. And this guy was my campaign manager. And with his help, we pulled that off. And I tried to get him to run for office earlier. I tried to get him to run for office for the state house when Chuck McElhenney ran, and he didn't want to do it then. And I knew that he had a lot to offer this county and our country in political office, but he waited. He waited for a while until, what do you say, 2011. And that tells me a lot about him. Because in my experience in politics, which now is way too long, there are two kinds of people who hold public office. There are people who want to do public service, and there are people who are trying to resolve an identity crisis, right? I don't know who I am, but if you put a title in front of my name, you call me a legislator, or a commissioner, or a senator, or whatever it is, then somehow I know who I am. And those people are dangerous because they can't dare lose an election, because when they lose an election, they lose their identity, and they don't know who they are anymore. And so the best public servants are the ones who aren't doing it to resolve an identity crisis. They know who they are, and they're doing it for public service. And the fact that Rob didn't jump at the first opportunity to run, or the second or the third opportunity to run for public office, but did it when he thought it was right for his family, and it was right for himself, and he thought he could make a contribution, I think tells us all we need to know about the character of this guy. Couldn't be more proud of him, and I give you Commissioner Robert Loughery.